Now let's create a custom skill for Azure AI Search. In the previous demo, you have seen that how we can associate pre-built AI skill set in our Azure AI Search service. Now, there are chances sometimes what you are exactly looking for is not available in the pre-built skill set. That's the time you have to create a custom skill for that. Now, when you have a built-in skills which don't provide what you need, you can create a custom skill set using multiple services which are available. You can have some kind of skills like integrating a document intelligence service, or maybe consume an Azure machine learning model, or maybe you just want to provide some kind of a simple custom logic which is going to be executed as per the pipeline execution. Now, if you see here, this is the same kind of 4 steps which you have seen in the previous module, but this time we are using Azure Function, which is somehow one of the easiest way to implement APIs which are HTTP based, and it can be hosted on Azure Cloud. Now, right now we are using that Azure Function as a custom skill, and if you see right now, we have the same 4 steps which we have seen in the previous slide. This is our data source. The second one is that enrichment of the pipeline which is happening with the skill set. And in the second step only, we are trying to associate the custom skill set, which is nothing but our Azure Function, which is developed with some kind of a customized logic. Once you have this custom skill set added here inside this enrichment pipeline, the indexer is going to use that custom skill set while processing that. Your data source and your custom skill set is going to be applied, and then the indexer is going to generate a new index which is going to have those logic which are executed based on that. Finally, this index is going to have the JSON document which is going to be searchable, and then that JSON document is going to give you the proper output based on your custom skill set. This is exactly the same thing what we are going to do in our next demo. But make sure before that you have seen the demo or you have done the demo of the previous module. As you can see here, this is a custom skill interface which is highlighted in the slide. In the left side, we have an input schema, which is actually going to have your unique identifiers associated with that. You are going to have multiple input key value pair which are associated here. And then when you are going to provide this input, at the right side, it's going to show you a same unique identifier from the input so that you can relate with that, and then the newly generated output value which is associated with that. Sometimes it's possible that your custom indexer or your custom skill set is actually not working properly. At that time, if you're getting any errors or warnings, those will also be part of your output schema. Now, when you're adding a custom skill to a skill set, you can use this add a custom.webapi skill to the skill set. This is that particular association which you have to do. You have to specify the URL to your web API endpoint, and optionally you can also add parameters and headers inside that. This demo of this is visible in the right side section. As you can see here, they are using Microsoft.skills.custom web API skill. In the URI, we have our base endpoint. After this, we are specifying the parameters, and these optional parameters are going to be available in your header values with that. So you can specify the header values, and then that will be applied in this. We have the input array and we have the output array below that, which is providing a same kind of an input value with the source document path associated with that. And finally, in the output array, it is generating the output name. You can set the context to specify at which point the document hierarchy the skill should be called. So you can specify the hierarchical path, and that's why the path is important. Finally, once you have output which is generated, you can specify the output target field and the name which you are going to use inside that while using this index search. Now, this is an exercise which we are going to see after this, and this is going to use Azure Function as a custom skill, and then we are going to associate that with our skill set. Hey guys, sorry for interruption. My name is Maruti and I'm here to make a very important announcement. I hope you are liking our videos and you're doing a continuous learning with us on an Azure Cloud and AI related topics. If you are enjoying this thing, I'm going to announce skilltech.club, which is our upcoming website, which is going to be launched very soon. We are here to tell you one thing, that everyone who is a subscriber of this particular channel will get Azure Cloud and Azure AI related certification courses free of cost in skilltech.club. So you will be a part of the skilltech.club kind of a membership automatically free of cost. and everyone who's a subscriber of this particular channel will get those benefits which are available in that. So what are you waiting for? I request you to please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and families if they are also interested in Azure Cloud and AI learning. That's it from my side. Now you can carry on with your learning. Thank you. Okay, so now it's the time we are going to focus on our next lab, which is actually focusing on Azure AI Search solution. Now in this particular lab, actually, we have a lab environment which is focusing on custom skill for Azure AI Search. But obviously before we learn custom skill, we have to understand how we can actually use Azure AI Search service, and then how we can use some inbuilt skill sets which are available inside that. We are going to configure AI search service in this particular module, and then we are going to follow the instructions which are mentioned inside this. In order to do this thing, in spite of following these instructions, as usual, first I'm going to do certain things from my side. So let's open our Edge browser inside this particular lab environment. I'll accept this configuration. Now, because of the limited time which is available here in this lab, I will maybe rush on certain things, and I hope you will not mind. Maybe if I go a little fast, this is one of that video in which you can pause and you can go back, or you can slow down the speed, and then you can try to understand what exactly we are doing inside this. So I'm just going into portal.azure.com. I will log in with my username and password, which is available here. Never, yes, and I think it will give me an Azure portal. Now remember, the first thing is we have to create Azure AI Search service, as well as we also want to create Azure AI service. So in this case, actually in this lab we need 3 resources. So we need to provision those resources step by step, and that's exactly what we are going to do first. So let's just click on create resource first. I'm going to search for Azure AI Search. This is here. We're going to click on create, and we are going to click on resource group 1. This is the default subscription and resource group which is available here. I'm going to give some meaningful name, like this is AZ Search SVC, with some number at the end of this to make sure that it's going to be unique. In the region which is specifically for this particular resource, we are going to select East US, and then we are going to change the pricing tier, which is going to be basic. I think we are okay with the basic Azure AI Search service in this case. Everything else is fine. I'm going to click on review plus create. Now in the instructions also, somewhere they are going to tell us to do this thing in which they are going to create Azure AI multi-service account, and that is exactly what we are going to do next. Now we will do this thing right now, and then we will focus on the custom skill set as we discuss. So once this validation is passed, I'm going to click on create, and this will start the deployment. Let me open Azure portal in the new tab, in which I'm going to create my Azure AI service resource, which is going to be a multi-service account. So it's a little slow, but yes, deployment is started. Let me go to the second tab. We'll click on create resource, AI plus machine learning, Azure AI service. Giving a meaningful name, and then we are going to click on pricing tier, which is standard S0, tick mark, and review plus create, and we'll click on create. Now in the third tab, we're going to create one storage account. So let's do that now. 2 deployments are going on. We'll click on create resource. We'll search for storage account. This is going to be useful to keep some data inside that. I'm going to create all the resources in the same region. So this is storage, and we're going to choose, this is going to be a blob storage. Primary workload we do not want to choose right now, and it's going to be standard with GRS. No, we want LRS, which is enough. and we'll click on review plus create. Okay, we need to do one more thing, I think. So once the validation is passed, I think we will change one thing in advance, which is this allow anonymous access on the individual containers. Now this is something which is additional configuration which is there. So we are going to do this checkbox so that we can actually create containers with anonymous access, and we do not need to worry about the restrictions or some security associated with that. Now once this is done, the storage account is going to be created, and then in each storage account we are going to have access key, which is going to be helping us in connecting the storage account with the other services. Now it's the time. If these three services are created, this is my search service, this is my Azure AI service, and in the third tab I have my storage account, which will be done very soon. While this is happening, let's open Visual Studio Code. As usual in the Visual Studio Code, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to clone the repository. So let me just quickly fire git clone. I'm going to execute this command. Select the destination is perfectly fine. Now this repository is going to have multiple lab samples available inside that. Now if you check right now in the following steps in this particular lab environment, it is actually directly focusing on lab files, and then it's focusing on exercise number 2, which is search skill, which is actually focusing on custom skill. Now before we go to the lab files number 2, we will actually go to lab file number 1, and then we will try to understand how the search skill is going to be configured manually, and then we are going to see how we can deal with the custom skill. So yeah, I think repository is successfully cloned. Okay, so our repository is cloned. Now we are going to expand the lab files, and the first thing we are going to do is we're going to focus on this first lab, which is Azure Search. Inside this we have a C# folder, and we have data, modify search, and Python kind of a folder. But the first thing which we have to do is we are just going to right click on this Azure Search folder, and we're going to open this in the integrated terminal. In this terminal, we want to use this command prompt file, which is upload docs.cmd. If you see this file is actually looking for your subscription ID, your Azure storage account, and your Azure storage key. Now, as of now, we already have our storage account provision. If we click on go to resource, it's going to show us that our storage account is successfully created, but inside this, we will not have any kind of a container. What I need is, I need my subscription ID, which is this. I'm going to put it here. I need my storage account name. I think both of those things I can take it from security, networking, access key. And this is going to show me my storage account name, which is this. And my storage account key, which is this. Now once you have storage account key, storage account name, and the subscription ID, you are just going to save this file, because this is a file which is actually going to create a new container inside your storage account, and it's going to upload some files. Now as of now, if I go to the storage account and if I click on the data storage containers, I do not have any containers as of now. It's just going to show me logs. But now let me try to execute this particular file. So we are just going to do one thing. Inside this terminal, we are going to do az login. This is going to open a prompt, and I have to log in with the same Azure subscription. Yes, it's opening a browser. I'm going to log in with my subscription, and once it is successfully logged in, you're actually connected with your subscription. If that is true, you're going to execute the file, which is going to be upload docs.cmd. So I'm just going to do /upload docs.cmd. This is the name of the file. It's executing this, creating container. Let's wait for some time. Now it's uploading files, and you can see there are 72 files which is getting uploaded right now. We'll wait for some time. Yes, the uploading is successfully done. It's showing me 100%. Let's cross-check this by going into our storage account, and we are going to refresh the container section. We have a new container called Margis, and inside this we will have folders like we have collateral, we have reviews, and if I go inside this, we are going to have files as well. Now these are some PDF documents which are there inside this particular folder, and if I go inside collateral, I think inside that also we are going to have similar kind of documents which are some brochures. Now we are happy with this. We have data which is successfully uploaded inside the storage account. Now it's the time we have to go into our Azure Search service. So let's go into our Azure AI Search service, which is a first tab. Inside the Azure Search service, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to focus on this import data section, because we want the search service should have some kind of a proper indexes and indexes configured with that. If we go to indexes right now, we do not have any index inside this. As you can see, it's empty. So we'll go to the overview tab. We will click on import data. In the import data, this will first take me to the wizard, which is asking me that you have to connect this to your data. In this, I'm going to choose my data source, which is going to be Azure Blob Storage. Now we already have our blob storage, so we are going to specify some kind of a data source name, and we're going to connect with that. Now let's say the data source name, I'm giving something like Margie's data. Now I'm just specifically following some kind of a sample example for Margie's travel, so I'm just providing Margie's data. My data to extract is going to be content and metadata. Parsing mode is going to be default. Now in the subscription and in the connection string, we are going to specify that we are going to choose an existing connection. And in this case, we actually have to associate with our storage account, which is this. Now, once you choose the storage account, you have to choose the container also, which is Margie's, because this is the one which is actually having our data, which we have uploaded through that sample application. In the blob folder, we do not want to specify anything, so we are just keeping it blank. Description can be anything, so I'm just going to provide something meaningful, like this is actually going to have brochures and other reviews kind of documents for Margie's travel website. After this, we will click on next, which will take us to focusing on cognitive skills. Now this is the second step of this particular wizard. Let's focus on add cognitive skills. Now as you can see right now, this is something which is an optional configuration, which if you do not want to do it right now, it's fine, but I want you to understand this thing, and that's the reason inside this attach Azure AI service section, we are actually going to associate with our Azure AI service. Now you can see this is the same service which we have created in the second tab. The name of the service is Maruti AZ AI service, and this is the same service which is coming here. So this is the one which actually we are going to select for our enrichment of this particular service. So this is our Azure AI search service, which is visible here. Then exactly below section, we have AI enrichments, add enrichments kind of option is available, in which we can configure a skill set name or some other optional configurations which we can do. Now in my case, my skill set name, I'm going to specify that this is going to be Margie skill set. So I'm going to remove this. I'm providing a name here, Margie skill set, and then we are going to select the option that enable OCR. So optical character recognition is going to be enabled. It's going to fetch the text which is part of the images, and it's going to provide that in the merge content field actually. So this is going to be a new field which is going to be created. Now if I want to change the source data field configuration, we can do that, and I'm not changing it right now. This is fine. This is merge content, which is a source data field. And then if I scroll down, this is what I want you to focus on. You can see that we have multiple enriched fields which are configured here. Now you can customize this, you can choose whichever you want. So I'm going to choose certain things like I want an extract location names, I want extract key phrases, I want to detect language, of course. I also want to do certain things like generate tags from images, and I want to generate caption from images. Now these are all those cognitive skills which you are actually able to select from this, and then you can customize this and configure this thing. Now these are the selections which I have done. You can customize and you can change it accordingly. If you want to do translation or you want to extract some PII information from that, you can choose those fields. After this, we have last option, which I'm not configuring right now, but just for your kind information, we have a section for knowledge store. If you want to create a knowledge store, which maybe you want to use it later on for further analytics or connecting with the Power BI or Synapse Analytics kind of things, then you can configure knowledge store, in which also we have something called projections. We have file projection, we have image projections, we have document specific blob projections which are there. So this is a separate thing altogether. I'm not creating a knowledge store right now, so I'm just clicking next, which is going to take me to the next step, which is like a configuration for my index. So this is a customized target index. I'm specifying again a name, that the name of the index is going to be Margie's index, which is fine. The key for this is going to be metadata storage path, which is also fine. And then search mode is actually something which is default one, which is analyzing, fixed matching, something like that. So I'm just going to keep it same. I do not want to change it. Now quickly, if you see the below section, we can add field, and we want to configure here that which fields we want filterable, which fields we want sortable. So depends upon that, you will be able to do different operations. Now in my case, I want certain fields should be configured like this, like the first one, metadata storage size. I want to make sure that these are going to be retrievable, filterable, sortable, but I do not want to have a face table for that, or I do not want other configurations for that. So this is fine. Same way I want to do it for other configurations. So let me quickly do the check marks, and accordingly, when you are also going to do this thing, you have to do the check marks, and based on that only you'll be able to control which fields are going to be sortable or searchable kind of thing. I want storage name, then I want metadata author, which is here. Author is going to be having everything in that. Then I want location also, which is, I want something which is like filterable also. And then I want key phrases, which is also going to be filterable. And then I want language, which is also going to be filterable. So these are the tick marks which we are doing right now. We are customizing things how we want. And then once you're done with this, you can just click on next, which is actually going to take you to create an indexer. Remember, indexer is that engine which is actually going to create an index. So here also I'm going to provide a proper name, that this is Margie's indexer. And how frequently I want to schedule it, I'm just saying once right now. It's initially going to do that thing, that's it. In the advanced option, we have to make sure that base 64 encoding keys are there, because that's going to be useful for this. Now max failed item and other configurations, if we want, we can do that thing, but I'm not doing anything here. So this is all fine. Data to extract is content and metadata. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on submit. Remember all the configuration which we have done. I request you, if you are doing a lab with me, then you should do it exactly same. Do not do your experiments or other changes right now. We're going to click on submit, which is going to take some time, because it's going to run indexer, is going to create a new index, is going to browse through that storage account, and it's going to retrieve all those documents which you have uploaded. Is going to apply OCR on that. All the AI level skill sets which we have configured will be applied on this, and this is what AI enriched pipeline is all about. So we'll just wait for some time, because this process will take few minutes. It's showing me right now that import is successfully configured. Click here to monitor the indexer progress. Now I'm going to click on that link, and that's going to show me that whether it succeeded or not. You can see it's showing me succeeded with all 72 documents. And if that is the case, I'll hit back. I'll go back to my Azure AI Search service. Okay, it's not going there. Let me go to home, my search service, and I just want to check that my indexer is created or not. Because if I go to indexes now, you can see I have Margie's indexer, which is there. This is my indexer, which is successfully generated index, and this is my index, which is visible inside the indexes. Let me click on my indexes, and let me see if I'm getting some data which I can search through or not. So I'm just going inside that. This is my search section. I always prefer to search with the help of JSON view. So I'm changing the view option from query view to JSON view. And inside the JSON, let's put star so that we can see all the records. I hit the search button. I got the lengthy JSON response. You can see it's a lengthy scroll, and it's showing me the JSON document, which is actually showing me the content which is extracted from those documents. We have a search score 1, 2, 3, and something like this we are going to have for all 72 documents. It's going to extract the keyword, it's going to extract the language, it's going to extract locations, all those configurational things which you have given. You can actually specifically configure this. Now I can also customize certain things here. Like for example, I want to see how many records are there. So in spite of only search star, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say I want to do search star but count equals to true, so that I can see how many documents are actually coming with that. When I do this thing, you can see in the initial first step it's going to show me odata.count, which is showing me that we are actually getting results from 72 documents. Same way, I can actually specifically ask for certain data, and then I can filter data based on that. So let's say if I try to change this JSON view with this one, this time I'm saying I only want to select metadata storage name, metadata author, and location. And this time if I search, I'm getting a response which is showing me metadata storage name. So this is exactly that file name. Author is reviewer, and then location which is connected with that. So you can actually specifically ask for filtered data also based on your configuration which you have done. Now this is my Azure AI Search, which is right now having a couple of AI enabled skill set applied on that. And that's where you need to understand this thing, that this kind of predefined inbuilt skill sets are available. Now if you want to create a custom skill set, you can actually use something like Azure Function or some other customized function configurations, and using that also you can create indexes and you can run indexes with that. And that is what this lab is actually all about. So right now we just focused on the first part of this, which is creating the Azure AI Search service with the help of these documents and the other configurations which are available. Now because we want to focus on the custom skill set kind of a lab, let's move forward to that one. So this is the time we are going to focus on the instructions and the steps which are available inside this. I think up to this point we are done. We have cloned the repository. Now we are going into the specific configuration. We have created Azure AI service also. We have taken the subscription ID. We need to go to lab 2, and then we need to configure setup.cmd. So this is what we are going to do now. So let me just go to my lab number 2 search skill. We have setup.cmd, and this is a place where I have to provide my subscription ID, my resource group name, and my location. That is what exactly they are asking me here. So it's asking me go and make sure that you have search skill folder, and then you will need this script actually when you want to execute that thing. So we can open this in an integrated terminal, we can do AZ login, we can list the locations, and then we can specifically say setup.cmd inside this. But before that we need to provide subscription ID. Now let me quickly take these values. I'm going into my storage account once again. I think this is the place where I was having my subscription. So let me take it quickly. Copying my subscription ID, putting it here. Then my resource group name, that's going to be the default resource group name. This is resource group 1. Everything is inside that only. And then my location name, I think the location name is actually in East US, so that's perfectly fine. This is East US. I'm going to save this, and then if you see right now, this is actually creating a storage account with some meaningful name inside that, and it's going to choose your subscription, it's going to create some kind of a document inside that. So this is all going to happen separately. It's not having any connection with the existing storage account. Before we execute this particular file, let's do one thing. Let's go to this resource group, and as you can see right now, this resource group is only going to have my search service, AI service, and storage account. Now after executing the setup.cmd, we will actually get a new storage account which is going to have this kind of a unique name, and it's going to upload the files inside that. It's going to do the configuration. So without wasting time, let's do this. Right click on this search skill, open an integrated terminal. In this terminal, all I have to do is I have to make sure that I can execute the file which is dot slash setup dot cmd. So this is my file. I'm just going to execute that. Let's see if this is going well or not. It's showing me here that if this is successfully completed, it's going to show me storage account name, connection string, search service endpoint, search service admin key, and search service query key. All this information is going to be there. Now, if you want to skip this thing, you can do that actually. You can use your existing search service account, you can use your existing storage account if you want, but this is actually going to create all the things with the meaningful names inside that. So we'll see that what kind of things are getting created with this. I'm just providing this. Creating storage is fine. Uploading file is actually going on right now. We'll go and check how many new resources are actually getting created with this. Yes, I think everything is executed successfully. You can see all the things which we have done actually previously manually. Now these things got created with this one single setup.cmd file. They have created storage account, they have uploaded files, they have created search service. All the things are actually done. Now let's check whether it's actually done or not. I'm going to my resource group 1, refreshing this, and you can see I have a new search service which is AI-102 search. I have a new storage account which is AI-102 storage with some kind of a number at the end of this. And yeah, I do not have any kind of AI service right now because this is the only AI service which I have created actually. Now this is all which got created right now, so I'm happy with this. And search service, storage account, both are there. The new storage account is actually going to have my container also. Let's cross check that. If I go to containers, I have a new container with the name monkeys, and inside that I'm going to have those files. So this all things looks fine. Now it's showing me that why don't you create a search solution actually, and in order to do that thing you need following components like a data source, skill set, index, indexer. And how you're going to do that thing? Now we did this thing with the help of a GUI. So I have shown you that how you can do this thing in the Azure portal. Now in this exercise, the next step is actually going to do that thing with your configuration of data source.json file. So we need to go back to our Visual Studio Code. Inside this we have a folder which is 02 search skill. Inside this we have create search, and inside the create search we have data source.json. This is a file which is actually looking for your storage connection string. Now once you provide the storage connection string, it's actually going to associate with that particular container and it's going to create your data source with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a connection string here. So I need to go to my storage account, which is going to be the newer storage account. So let me go there. This is my new storage account. I'll go to access keys, and I need my full connection string. So I'm going to copy this connection string. This time it's not a key, it's a full connection string. Make sure you are going to verify the proper storage account configuration inside this. I just pasted the connection string here. It's in the double quotes, and this is for my new storage account which is having this name. So this is perfect. I'm going to save this file. And once we replace this, all they are saying is you save the file, close the file, go to this create search folder, and then this file contains JSON definition for Margie's custom skill set. Now let's go to skillset.json, which is the second file. In this we have to provide our AI service key. Now we do not have a new AI service key, so we are going to use the same one which we have used earlier. We don't need to create a separate AI service for this. Let me go back to my AI service. Let me make sure that I have only one AI service inside this. Yeah, this is the only AI service which I have, so it's perfectly fine. What do I need in the configuration? Well, I need my AI service key, not the name. So we'll go to security, resource management, keys and endpoint, and all I need is my AI service key, which I'm copying, and I'm pasting it here. The AI service key is pasted. I'm just going to save this file. I think I by mistakenly add one S at the end of this. Let me cross check. Copy, paste. Yes. Now if this is fine, At the top of the skill set definition, they are saying you have cognitive services. Inside that, you have to provide keys. That is what I've done. Save and close. And now you go to index.json, okay, which is this one. We're going into index.json. It is actually having Margie's custom index, which is going to be created with this. Remember, this is a custom one which you're creating. That's the reason we are following the steps. It's not a predefined skill set which is going to be associated with that. We don't need to change anything here. So we are just reviewing this. Same way we have indexer.json also, which is the next file which we have to observe, in which they are associating with all those things. They're creating an indexer configuration with that. And finally, everything is going to be used with create search.cmd, which is this file. This create search.cmd file is actually looking for two things, which is your search URL and your admin key. Now finally, this is what we have to take. So I'm going back to my resource group. I'm going to buy new search service, which is this one. My search service URL is going to be here. This is the one. This is a little tricky part, guys. Most people make mistake when they do the lab. They put the wrong URLs at certain places. Please make sure you're doing it properly. We're going into settings, we're going into keys, and we need to take our admin key. So this is our primary admin key. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. Any of the key will be fine, first or second one. I'm pasting it here. I'm saving this. And finally, if this is saved, it's the time we have to go and execute this particular file, which is create search. And we need to go into that particular folder also first. So create search is a folder. Let me right click on this, open an integrated terminal, executing this CMD file. It's going to create data source, it's going to configure indexer, it's going to run the indexer, it's going to create index. All the things are going to be created custom wise with this particular configurational code. Now you can see right now it's creating indexer. Let's wait for some time. Yep, command is successfully executed. If that is done, they are showing us in the next step that why don't you just go and search for the index so that you can see whether it's working or not. So I can go to Search Explorer and then I can see for this particular one. So let's see that. I'm going into my AI search service, which is here. Let's see if I have a new index. Yeah, I have. Let me go to overview. Let me click on Search Explorer, which is here as per the instruction. It's the same thing which I have shown you earlier. In this, we are going to put into the query options, and then we are specifying that I want this query should be working, where we are looking for London with the sentiment, key phrases, metadata, whatever. Let's click on search. I'm getting a result. It's showing me some locations which has to be associated with London, some documents which are talking about that, and you can see it's a Buckingham Hotel, London, UK. It's working fine. It's giving me the proper result, and everything what I've done so far is perfect. Now, because this is also one of the index and indexer, we have some configuration of Azure AI enrichment with this particular pipeline inside that. Now, if you want to develop your own custom skill set, and if you want to associate that also with this, you can do that thing. And there are multiple ways to do that. One of the ways is Azure Function. But for that, you need to create an Azure Function app. And that's exactly what I'm going to do next right now. So we'll create an Azure Function app for custom skill, and then I want to add that custom skill in this. So let's do this. In the separate tab of the browser, I'm going to click on Create Resource. I'm going to create a function app with the same configuration which they have mentioned here. So same subscription, same resource group, same region. Okay, it's going to be in the consumption plan, which is perfect. Resource group will be resource group 1. Function name is going to be this. Runtime stack, we are going to select Node.js, and version, I think 18 TLS LTS they have mentioned. I think let's go with that one if they want that. The region will be East US, which is perfectly fine. Operating system, we can have Windows, which is also fine. Wait for the deployment of the function to be created. So let's go with this. I think everything else looks fine. We'll click on Review plus Create. Okay, set up a development environment. Develop environment is developing portal. Okay, so that's what is perfectly fine. We'll click on create. Let's wait for a few more minutes and the function app will be created very quickly. Okay, my function is successfully deployed. I'm going to click on go to resource. As per the instructions, we have to create an HTTP trigger based function. So let's go into functions. We have a section here, functions. We'll click on create in Azure portal, create function. We're going to choose HTTP trigger function here with the proper configurations name like word count. Okay, so let's select HTTP trigger function. Scrolling down, selecting next. Function name is going to be word count. This is maybe going to count number of words in a specific text. Authorization level, we want function, which is mentioned here, so everything else is fine. We'll click on create. Okay, once this is done, let me just zoom out a little bit. Yes, once this is done, you can see right now we are already inside that particular function inside the browser. So we do not want this particular function code. We have actually a code which is given inside this lab, which is going to have array of multiple words, and then we want to do the word count kind of a logic inside that. So in spite of this logic, which is a dummy logic there, I'm going to replace it with this which we have in the lab. Now I'm not going into this particular code right now, but this is basically going to count each and every word which you're providing inside this, and it's going to give you the word count associated with that. I'm saving this function. If I want to check this, I can click on test run if it is working fine or not. So let's click on test run, and then in this test run we are going to specify some body inside this request. To check this HTTP triggered function, you have to pass proper HTTP body. I'm passing that with some values of the words inside that, and then we are going to click on run. So I'm posting this, I'm going to click on run, and in the output I should actually get some values like this. You can see right now it's showing me the similar kind of output, which is like values. We have A1, which is a record ID, and then we have text which is having tiger, burning, bright, darkness, night. Now in A2 we have data which is having some other things. So this is actually using kind of a logic which is going to take these words, and then it's going to take those words which are actually repeatedly mentioned inside that. So that is how it is going to work. So it's perfectly fine. This is a simple JavaScript based function which is getting executed here, focusing on the word count. We are done with this. So the final thing which we have to do is we have to close this, and we have to get the function URL. This is the function URL which is going to be useful if you want to invoke this thing from anywhere. I'm going to take this URL which is going to have some key associated with that. I copy this, and I'm going to use this function URL somewhere in the coming steps. So let's move forward to that. In the next step, we have add a custom skills to the search solution. This is what we are going to do. So I'm going into my update search kind of a section which is there, which is having, I have updates skillset.json, which is inside this particular one. So I'm not going inside create search, I'm going inside update search, and inside that we have update search, update skillset.json, which is this. Inside this update skillset.json we have to provide okay, it's asking for reviewing this thing. We have to update this, it contains the JSON definition, and then you have to provide your function URL on the get top words. So somewhere we have get top word, which is here, and this is looking for my function app URL, so I have to provide it here. I already copied my function URL, you know that, so I'm just going to replace it with this one. It's done. This is my full function URL, it's a function app. And then with this I also have to provide my Azure AI service key. So let me quickly go to that. My AI service is here. No, I need to go back to my resource group. I need to go back to my AI service, and I need my AI service key, which is this. Fine, AI service key is successfully changed. I can save and close this JSON file. Next, I can go to update search, which is this one. Update search folder, and then index.json, and then we have to go to Margie's custom index, which is there inside that. Okay, so we are going to update index.json. Now this is Margie's custom index, which is here, and it's going to have somewhere, if we scroll down, we're going to have top words at the bottom. Okay, let's check that. So yeah, we have top words, which is available here, and then review the JSON, which is available inside that, and you can see that it's having something like collection configuration associated with that. Okay, cool. Once you're done with this, they're just saying review, so we're not going to change anything. Same way for the next file, which is Margie's custom indexer, which is update indexer, which is this one. I can go, and inside that also top words will be there. I just need to review, no need to change. And finally, we need to go to search.cmd. So let's quickly do that. I'm going into search.cmd, which is here, and here we need to provide our search URL and admin key. Okay, let's do that. So this is going to be my search service. I need my search URL. I need my search admin key. And basically this is going to update my index and indexer, which is based on this 2 JSON files. So you can, if you have enough time, you can go through these 2 files and you can deep dive into that top word section inside that. That's required. Fine, so I have this configuration. I have saved the updated batch file. Yes, it's perfectly fine. Now it's the time we have to execute this. So we are going to right click on update search, open an integrated terminal, and we are going to execute the batch file. Let's wait. This is updating the skill set. This is updating the index. Now it is updating the indexer. Now obviously once all the things are done, because we have focused on this count word kind of an additional function, we want to check whether it's working or not. And if this is working, then when I search for some particular words which are associated with that, it's going to give me the top words with that, with the count. So that's what exactly the end goal of this exercise. Now this output is done, the execution is successfully done for this update search.cmd file. Let's go back to our search service, which is going to be in the same resource group. This is our search service. We are going into search explorer. We are going into JSON view this time because we want to pass on some parameters. And we will replace it with this configuration, and we'll click on search. As you can see here, we have search for this. The search is working fine. It's giving me the top words associated with that, and this is something which is showing me those words which are available here. The URL and the top word is which is coming based on this, which is showing me that it's working perfectly fine. Now if this is done, the last and the important step is you always have to delete your resources. So this is what I'm going to do. It's a very lengthy lab, but I hope you understood what we have done. When you do the thing, please take care of the copy paste and the configuration. I wish you all the very best for that. Thank you so much.